And we're back. Here we are again. Alright, first things first. I know my intro, since I changed it at the beginning of the year, just cuts off. I'm working on that, okay? The program I was using for the audio, it's garbage and it crapped out on me. So, I'm working on it. Give me a little time. I'll fix the intro as soon as I can. Anyway, that's not what this is about. Oh, okay. Wrath of Man with Jason Statham, a Guy Ritchie film, which I've been really excited about and was very excited to watch because I'm quite a Guy Ritchie fan, as well as a Jason Statham fan. I put off for the Christmas season so I could do the Christmas movie list. And I set it aside. It was on my list. I've just been putting it off. My apologies. But I was super excited to watch it. And yesterday, I did. And I also watched the original, which is a French film that I cannot say the title to, but the translation is Cash Truck from 2004. Wrath of Man is, of course, from 2021. Cash Truck starred Albert Dupontel. I'm not French. Don't know exactly how to say it. Hope that's right. Hope I didn't massacre it. My apologies if I did. But I watched Wrath of Man first to see Guy Ritchie's version. And then immediately afterward, I watched Cash Truck to see how it differed and if it went wrong or right with the story. Seems fair enough, correct? Oh, yay. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first. Wrath of Man. Jason Statham plays Jason Statham. Imagine that. He does exactly what he does in all of his movies. He does a great job. Absolutely no reason to condemn him or complain about him. He played who he always plays. And that's probably the problem. Or at least one of several. Alright. Wrath of Man is confusing. Like, not that you can't keep up with it. I'm not saying it's confusing in that way. Some of the choices they made, however, make it just meh. Alright? Now, the shooting, the action, the fighting, the storyline, great. But they overcomplicated Jason Statham's character. Whereas I usually like Guy Ritchie's dialogue, at the first half of this movie, the dialogue is ridiculous, and obviously nobody talks that way. Nobody. It's just silly. The characters don't act the way these people would act. But the real problem is the bad guys. Well, of which there are many, because basically in this movie, nobody is a good guy. Everybody is bad on some level. But I'm talking specifically the bad guys that he's hunting. Wouldn't you know it? And look, I don't brag on about being a veteran, but I don't hide it either. I have great respect for veterans, for the people that are willing to serve this country, or whatever country they're from. People that join the military, it's generally volunteer, and it's a big job. It's a job that's difficult, and in today's society, you get crapped on for it. Yeah, I get it. But Hollywood has a big problem of when they show veterans, they show their idea of veterans instead of showing them the way they are. I talked about this the other day. Matthew Marsden, in his movie I Am That Man, he not only wanted to get it correct, he also sent drafts of the film around to actual veterans and asked them what he got right, what he got wrong, and they helped him get it correct. He cared enough about that because he knew Hollywood would change the veterans in that story to their version of what a veteran is, which is completely wrong in most cases. Just as it is in Wrath of Man, the military group who are the bad guys, the worst bad guys, are a caricature and exaggeration of what Hollywood thinks veterans are. They sit around drinking, talking about wishing they were back in Afghanistan, killing Afghanis, and just how, woe is me, I just want to be back on, I just need another battle to fight, me. It is so absurd the way they portray these veterans that it completely took me out of the movie. And I will say, Guy Ritchie, it completely made me disrespect who you are as a filmmaker, because it's lazy. It's so lazy, it's ridiculous, and it's so obvious. Even my wife, who's a normie, was like, what? That doesn't seem right. Imagine that. Shall we go back and talk about how come Wrath of Man didn't do great? I wonder why that is. Could it be the lazy structure of it, or the lazy characters you wrote? Moving on from that, talking about the main character, who is Jason Statham, the story from the original film works because he's just a normal guy. You took Jason Statham's character and complicated him and made him, you never explained it, but it was silly. Do you know why Die Hard worked? Because McClane, Bruce Willis's character McClane, was not a superhero. He wasn't all special forces and the best of the best. He was a cop in a bad situation, and he just had to survive and save the hostages. He was a regular guy. Period. In the original movie, Cash Truck, it's a regular guy. And what'd you do? You made him superhuman, some sort of, sorry Mom, badass. With some convoluted, complex backstory. And it ruined it. Because watching a Jason Statham movie, the one thing you know is he's awesome and he will get every last bad guy by the end. If you'd have played him correctly as a normal Joe in a bad situation, it would have been up in the air of whether he was going to get it done or not and survive or not. So way to go, Guy Ritchie. You blew this one. It's a massive failure and completely unenjoyable by the end of it. It's really sad. You had a chance to do something brilliant and you were too lazy to get it done. That's too bad. Moving on to the original Cash Truck. I didn't enjoy it. Now, let me explain. It is gritty. It's honest. It deals with a normal man in a bad situation and all that comes with that. The characters are realistic. If I hadn't said it already, it's a French film. My apologies if I didn't specify. This is not something you get to watch in English. You have to read it, and it's fine. It's just straightforward story. The characters are not necessarily likable, and they're not supposed to be. It's less complex, and the story goes where it's supposed to and where it needs to. But in the end, after watching it, I won't watch it a second time, and I just was like, I mean, it was a better ending. And why? Well, it has one of the best killer scenes from the good guy killing the main bad guy. And why Guy Ritchie didn't include that in his movie was a huge misstep. It was the best part of Cash Truck. So way to go, Guy Ritchie, once again. Lazy. Cash Truck is worth the watch if you want to sit down and watch it. It's not a date movie. Your wife, girlfriend, mom, nobody's going to want to enjoy this movie. And this isn't a handhold movie. This is a gritty, just tough story. So that's it. I mean, I enjoyed Cash Truck for what it was, but I was mainly watching it for context to see what differences there were. And there was differences aplenty. The synopsis of Cash Truck made me want to watch Cash Truck. The synopsis of Wrath of Man made me go, do what now? Oh, Jason Statham's going to kill everybody. Mm-hmm. So there you have it. The end of Cash Truck was a better ending as well. Made so much more sense. And made the story completely well-rounded. And put a pin in it. So there you go. That's what I have to say about that. It was an interesting, few hours where I had looked at the two films respectively. But, man, was Wrath of Man a failure when it could have been something great. So there you go. From Squeaky Chair, Michael the Microphone, and this fat nerd. I'll see you later.